those on Friday know that this is where I found out about it. Luis is the one who mentioned something in a text, and I just couldn't believe it, and I still can't. And I'm on the verge of tears all weekend, and right now even. And it's funny, I am fine, and then all of a sudden I'll just start weeping. So if that happens, you'll know that that's just kind of the rhythm. I did love that guy, so really tough. This is, though, a super chat. Look at this.
Big shout out.
Big shout out to Robert H. $1 for every year Sam Rubin walked this earth, and I challenge every listener to consider matching in Sam's memory. Robert, so generous of you, and Sammy was so great. You know, I don't know, I pushed to Tony a bunch of stuff about Sam Rubin, and I did a thing on KTLA this weekend. They came to me for some reflections on Sam Rubin. My hair looks kind of puffy today, I'm just saying. They throw to me, and I know what I tell you, Kim, it was the weirdest thing. I barely got a sentence out. I started weeping. I was like, it's so weird. I choked up. I wouldn't say I was weeping, but I choked up.
Right.
And it was really tough. And it's really the reason I didn't repost it. It was posted on social media, and I just, I don't know if I'm, it's not, it's almost embarrassing or something, but it really just shows your humanity, I think, on some level.
I mean, I think people understand emotion. I think you're too embarrassed about emotion.
Yeah, maybe. I sent you that tweet, Tony.
Yeah, I have it ready.
Again, play it. What do you? I'll play it for like 90 seconds, and then we'll bail on it and play.
Do you want the beginning of it, or do you want like?
Yeah, play the play the beginning. You'll see me with a little double clutch breakdown, and then and then I tell the story. I think that story is really what I want to get to, though. It's
okay. Do you want the beginning of it, though? Yes.
What you didn't?
You want the beginning of it? Yeah.
You want to? Do you think we should skip it?
I don't know. Oh, we're doing this live, so.
All right, just go ahead and run it. Just run it.
Zoom is, of course, know from Fox 11 as a longtime weather person. He also was a great dancer over there. Knew Sam for 30 years, and you might know him from KFI on the Tim Conway Jr. show here as well locally. So joining us, Mark Thompson. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Of course. Good morning. And what a terrific thing KTLA is doing by dedicating so much time to such a great guy. I'm a very emotional guy, so I want to apologize ahead of time. It's been very tough. But Sammy was so talented and so clearly gifted that I tried to get him hired at Fox 11 because he started at Fox 11 on a show called Fox Entertainment News. It was Barry Diller's idea to do an Entertainment Tonight type show that was about the studio system and about money and the financial side of Hollywood, sort of more than just the glamorous side, although it would include that too. Anyway, it was called FEN, Fox Entertainment News. And here comes this guy, Sam Rubin. So this is on Fox 11, and this is before the KTLA Morning News. I think it was before they even had a Morning News. And Sam was brilliant. I mean, he's dynamic. He did something that's so key in this business. He teases so well.
Yeah.
Like you just, even if you have no interest in the story, you're just astounded by the idea of staying tuned and hearing whatever he has to say. You know, you won't believe the reason that the Disney company is changing its policies at the theme park.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, well, wait a minute. I don't care about the theme park, but I'm very curious, so you stay tuned. And he still had that ability up until his Tony, last I'll moment. finish the story real quick here. But I did go into management twice. I made special meetings to get Sam hired at Fox 11 because he was such an extraordinary talent. And one of the meetings was for the weekend weather job. And I told Sam, I'll teach you how to read various things that will help you with the weather. You know, now it's much easier. Back then it was a little bit harder. And he said, I don't know, I've just never done weather. I said, don't worry, I'll get you all up to speed on it. So I go in and I pitch it, and I thought I was kind of like a guy with a lot of pull there in the.
Do you know who I am?
Yeah, I thought there
I'm
was
kind of a big deal.
I thought it was a big
No.
deal, and of course they did not hire him, and they did not hire Sam, and he went then to Channel 5, literally across the street, and he kicked Channel 11's butt every morning because he's so goddamn good, and he was an astounding key to their success. I mean, I don't know how. I was saying this on Friday, how to break down how much of a contribution Sam Rubin is on that morning show for KTLA, but it's more than 50%. He is, losing him is huge, and losing him from life is even bigger. He was a magnificent guy. And the last thing I'll tell you about Sam, just from a personal standpoint, and I might have mentioned this the other day. I'm sorry. I've talked a lot about Sam because I'm just so, it happens so suddenly, He's a young person and it happens so suddenly. But when my house burned, neighborhood burned, I had an annual event. And Sam was always there with his family. It was the Stragglers Vegan Potluck Thanksgiving. So we did it a few days after Thanksgiving. That's what we call it, Stragglers. And it was all vegan and it was all potluck. And it was a big event. We had like 115, 120 people there at my house. And when the house burned, Sam called me and he said, "Hey, man, why don't you do your annual event at my house?"
Nice.
And I said, "Sam, it's a lot of people. You don't want all those people at your house, do you?" He said, "I'd love it." He said, "It'll be great." He said, "It'll be fun." I said, "Well, we can, maybe we can rent some." He said, "Yeah, you can rent a bar, you can rent furniture. I know a guy." He always knew a guy. And we did. We had it at Sam Rubin's house, and it was spectacular. And Sammy was there, and everybody loves Sam, and so it was great to see. But that's the kind of person he was. He stepped up. I didn't ask him. I didn't even think of it. I told him, "I'm just going to cancel it this year, Sammy. Don't worry about it." He said, No. Do it at my house. So, tough. So many great memories. And I watched today as his son spoke about him. And the last thing I'll say about Sam Rubin is he kind of went through what I picked up as a change. He increasingly was on these 10-day hikes with the Boy Scouts, and he was like hiking at Yosemite, and it was like, wow. I said, "Sam," I remember I said, "Who are you? What is going on with all of these hikes and this Boy Scout stuff?" And he said, "My son is really into it, and my son," he said, "has turned into a stud." He said, "I want to support him, so I'm out on doing all this stuff." And that was the change. He was really an active guy. I mean, super active in the last few years, in addition, of course, to being the last word in entertainment. In Los Angeles, these red carpet shows, he, I think, just brought a special spark and dynamism, and that's what he brought to all his TV work. I will miss him on television, but more personally. So rest in peace, my dear friend, Sam Rubin.
How old are his children?
Colby, you'll have to look to see, but I think one is just entering teenage years, and one is a teenager. Colby's a teenager now, and then he has older kids from a first marriage,
right?
And they are lovely, gorgeous family. Everybody's beautiful, but really great bunch. And I've been in touch with his wife a bit, and we'll keep you posted if there's any kind of public memorial service. So that's in Los Angeles, everybody. Now, I did want to, before I get any farther along, let you know that I want to address, I'm going to miss Sam. There's a $5 super sticker from Spencer, Jeff.
Big shout out.
Thank you. Big shout out. Thank you. In honor of Sam's memory, there's a $5 super chat from Vilma.
Big shout
Thank you,
out.
Vilma. You're so great. By the way, before I do leave the Sam thing completely, I want you to know he was a good friend to this show. I mean, we're just this little YouTube show, sort of. I mean, we've grown. I'd like to think that we have a bigger footprint, but Sam was here at the very beginning, and you'll remember the day after Oscars, and he's just done the Oscar red carpet. The guy's does a morning show. I mean, he's got a lot of obligations. He would be easy and even understandable for him to say, "Mark, I'd love to do your show. Can we do it later? Can I tape it? Can I whatever? He joined us live from his bed. Mm-hmm. Isn't that right, Tony? Wasn't he? He was in bed, I think. Oh, Kim, you remember it, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There he is. Look at.
Yeah.
There. Run. Can you run just a second of it? This is Sammy joining us from bed. Oscars last night. I really liked it, and
I think the reaction was because I'm reading something that's interesting to me. Because I thought towards the end, when Jimmy Kimmel read that review from former President Trump, I thought that was a comedy bit. I thought it was completely made up, only to discover it wasn't made up. It was an actual tweet that Trump had posted on Truth Social. And apparently Jimmy Kimmel telling some people backstage that when told, hey, you have some extra time, there's time to fill a TV phrase, Mark, that the show is light, which is never the case with the Oscars. It came as a surprise to me. He's like, I'm going to read this tweet, and that some people told him not to do it, but he did. And then that fantastic end line, the capper line, isn't it a little past your bedtime? And what Kimmel said was, no, isn't it a little past your jail time? Which was a fantastic, very funny thing. But I think Jimmy will be invited back for year 5 if he's so inclined. And reminds me of another era. How many years did Billy Crystal do it? So I think we're encroaching.
Right. He feels like this generation's Billy Crystal.
Right.
And Alan says, show is well thought out. Twins, Arnold and Danny, great entertainment with original Batman, Michael Keaton in audience. That was a great beat in the entire thing.
Michael Keaton, post 70, looking great. This was a more mature Oscars. But you know what? People looked fantastic. And then that original idea to have 5 former Oscar winners make these presentations. When I saw the first one, Best Supporting Actress, I thought, gee, this is nice. It is heartfelt. It is going to take forever. And so I thought there's no way they could do this ceremony in 3.5 hours. And then amazingly, even with some big production numbers, they did do it in 3.5 hours.
There you go. I had exactly the same thought you did. Tony, thank you for finding that. But look, that's Sam Rubin joining us from bed the day after the Oscars. He was so exhausted. This one's for Sam. Just watched his ride on Guardians of the Galaxy at Disneyland. That is really funny. You're absolutely right, Wes. $5 super
big shout out.
It really is funny. Amber Anderson, wow. Sam was the absolute best, quirky and full of joy. Amber.
I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry.
I may cry. It'll be both your contribution and the loss of our dear Sammy.
I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry.
Amber, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
He was quirky and full of joy. That, I think, is a really great description. And the absolute best. No question about it. Without peer. I mean, irreplaceable. And so, wow, Amber Anderson, thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. Big shout out.
Big shout out.
Yeah. Wow. Big shout out for a 50.
Big shout out.
And you're going to love your June Swoon participation. Rest in peace, Sam. Peace to all who loved him. Indeed. Audrey, thank you so much.
Big shout out.
My Sammy, I am so heartbroken that he is gone, and thank you for recognizing him that way. Rest in peace, Sam. Peace to all who loved him. From Audrey. Yeah.
2 in a row.
Big shout out to Audrey.
Big shout out.
Oh, that was Audrey again.
And again.
Look at, and again. Audrey again and again. Wow. Oh.
I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry.
So sweet, though. Rest in peace, Sam. Peace to all who loved
Yeah,
him.
because it adds up to 65 is what she was doing.
I see.
She was trying to
Thank
do.
you.
I see what she was doing.
Tony can explain
Thanks,
that
Tony.
to me. Thank you, pal. Yeah. Well, Sam Rubin was a brilliant. I mean, I still can't believe, and maybe this is the way, the denial, acceptance, anger, all this, the Elizabeth Kubler-Ross 7 stages of, grief. I still can't believe that he's gone. I mean, he's 64 years old. A guy like that has a heart attack and dies. We had, again, at the beginning of the show, we had video of him joining us the day after Oscars. He worked all day, all night. Red carpet, Oscars, then the following morning, and there he was joining us from his bed on the show. It would have been so easy for him to just say, hey, Mark, can I join you tomorrow? I'm a little burnt out. And I would have said, sure, of course, don't worry about it. But he joined us from bed. It was great. He's just he's just one who I will miss so desperately. There he is talking about the Oscars the day after. There he was in bed. Yeah, we were talking about different people there.
As a little compliment to me here.
Oh, that's right. Did he throw you a compliment? That's right.
Yeah,
Said
he
whoever's
did.
hustling all
Yeah,
these
certainly.
pictures.
But he was a good addition last night, and he walked the carpet. He brought his daughter, and I thought, this happens occasionally. We're always trying to impress our kids in show business. They're never impressed. His daughter was right there. Who's ever doing your pictures, Mark?
I know. I'm quite impressed with whoever's doing the pictures. Either it's Kim or Tony, or if it's both of you. Impressive. Anyway, go ahead. Wow, Tony gets a shout out from Sam Rubin.
Yeah.
And I remember David Allen Greer was the announcer of the Oscars. That's right, he was up there. But yeah, gosh, just a giant, and I can't believe he's gone. It's really sad.
The Mark Thompson Show.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell, you'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.